We're back with another review. Blockbuster Underground, Friday, November 10th. Today we are going to review The Marvels. Marvel's first entry into the foray, movie-wise, for a little while now, since Ant-Man bombed earlier this year. Is this any much better than Ant-Man was? No. Is it watchable? Kind of. The problem with this movie, well, there's a lot of problems with this movie. Um, not it's not all bad. I'll give it that. I will talk about it. Okay, we're gonna go full spoilers here because what the hell? The premise of the movie is that Monica Rambeau, if you've seen WandaVision, you'll know who she is. Kamala Khan, if you've seen Miss Marvel, you'll know who she is. And Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, their powers have become intertwined because of some anomaly in space that's happening. So the anomaly in space winds up being this Kree soldier called dar-benn, played by Tom Hiddleston's wife. She apparently, they do a lot of backstory in this too. Like if you haven't seen these other properties, like WandaVision, Miss Marvel, and all that, they basically do kind of like little recaps along the way. Dar-benn, however, is pissed because when Captain Marvel went full crazy mode years back and destroyed the Supreme Intelligence, it basically crippled this planet called Hala, where the atmosphere died and the entire planet is just a wasteland. And this lady Dar-benn blames it all on Captain Marvel. She calls her the Annihilator. Ooh. Um, so she's puttering around in space and she finds the other bangle that Miss Marvel wears just in some random planet in the middle of some rubble and puts that on, and that's supposed to enhance her powers. And she's got the same hammer that Ronan had in Guardians. So she's zipping around to different areas, and basically what she's doing is taking revenge on Captain Marvel by attacking planets that she has a connection to and stealing their resources to restore Hala. So she starts off, she goes to the Skrull refugee planet or wherever they went from after Captain Marvel, and opens up, like, you know, the portal things they jump through for hyperspace and Guardians. She opens up one of those from that planet to Hala and basically starts sucking the oxygen out of the atmosphere. I'm like, okay. Previous to this, her whole plan starts about midway through the movie. Previous to this is the most incomprehensible jumble of what's I'm supposed. I guess they thought it was going to be funny and exciting, but what's happening is every time one of the heroes uses their powers, they switch places with someone else, one of the other ones. So there's this whole extended fight between Captain Marvel's trying to get Dar-benn. She's on her ship. Monica is somewhere on another ship, and Kamala's obviously at her house. So the fight keeps rotating between those three locations. At one point, Kamala lands in her living room holding Goose, the Flurkin. Oh, we'll get to it. Who immediately proceeds to vomit out two Kree soldiers onto the floor of her parents' living room, who jump up with their blaster rifles, and like, it's insane. They finally figure out the switching thing. So there's a whole montage. The three of them team up, obviously, and they're going off to the Skrull planet for starters, because that's where they know she's going there somehow. I don't know. Monica, I think, figured it out. So while they're going there, there's a whole montage scene of them learning how to blip between each other when they're using their powers and kind of like tag team, which comes into the fight later. They get to the Skrull homeworld though, and all hell's breaking loose. The whole planet's caving in because the atmosphere is going, and Miss Marvel, Kamala's running around trying to save people, and Captain Marvel's like, "Get on the ship. We can't save them all. We got to save who we can." And Kamala's like, "Whoa!" Like, Iman Vellani, I'll say it right now, she is great in this. The rest of the movie is not so great. But anyway, so they leave that planet, and then the next thing they know is she's going to this planet that's all covered in water, and she's going to steal all the water for Hala. And Captain Marvel's like, "Oh, I've been to that planet before." Yeah, okay. So they get there, and it turns out after dragging the answer out of her, turns out she's married to the prince of this planet. A marriage of convenience, political aspirations and stuff like that. And the entire planet communicates via song. So there's a whole sequence where Brie Larson is singing with this, I think he's Korean actor. I don't know the name, I'm sorry. Apparently he's pretty big in Korea. So they have a whole thing where she's basically, they're singing at each other. And she's basically saying, hey, in song form, she's basically saying, hey, dar-benn's coming, she's going to fuck you up. And you better get the planet evacuated and get your army together. So she goes back. There's a whole weird thing where her costume morphs into like this dress version of the Captain Marvel uniform, and then she like sparklies again back to her like sweatshirt and jeans she was wearing. So she goes over to Monica and Kamala, and she's like, "Okay, here's what's going on." And she looks at the prince. She goes, "Can we talk for a minute?" He was like, "Yeah, for sure. What do you need?" And Monica's like, "Wait, he doesn't have to sing?" He goes, "No, no, no. He's bilingual." So he whips them up some new outfits out of nowhere. There's a whole side thing too where Kamala's trying to get Monica to pick a code name, and they're going through these names. Like at one point they suggest Vision, and Carol's like, "No, no, no, not that." Um, Plasma Girl, Plasma Lady, uh, Professor Marvel. I don't know, whole shitload of names. They never actually. She's supposed to be called Photon in this, but they never actually get around to deciding it. It's like that whole storyline just got shuffled off to the side. So anyway, dar-benn shows up, starts sucking the water off this guy's planet. They Does Kamala get captured? I think she gets captured. And then there's a whole thing with her having the other band. So dar-benn's like, ooh, double whammy. Um, the big crux of it all is winds up they're fighting. They all end up in the same spot again, and they're fighting dar-benn, and they're switching powers and beating the shit out of her. And at this point, yeah, oh yeah, at this point she's in Earth's orbit, and her next target is Earth's sun. So she shows up and starts fucking like hoovering up the sun. Space station the Nick Fury's on with Kamala's parents at this point is in red alert mode, falling apart. And they've been finding all these eggs all over the fucking space station for the last while. It turns out the eggs are actually Flurkin. So Goose, the cat, had a whole freaking massive, like, ginormous litter of little Flurkins. So all of a sudden the space station is just covered in these little kittens. And then Fury has the idea, hey, we can't transport 250 people off of this fucking space station, but we can sure as hell stuff 100 cats into one of those space shuttles. And he's like, okay, Flurkin, start eating everyone on the space station. And they're like on the PA system going, let the Flurkin eat you. It's going to be okay. And all while this is happening, they're playing the song Memory from Cats by Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's like, oh my God. You have got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. So, anyway, they all escape the space station. Dar-benn tries to use both bracelets to fucking open another portal or something, and super fries herself and basically disintegrates and dies, but she opens this big tear through the universe. And so they go back, and Kamala gets her bracelet, puts on both bracelets this time. And then Monica's like, wait a minute, I got an idea. If you guys supercharge me, I can close that rift using my powers. So they blast her with full tilt with all of their powers, and she goes full photon binary, whatever the hell name they're going to give her, flies into the rift and then closes it from the inside, trapping herself in there. And it's like, couldn't you have done that from the other side? I mean, same kind of idea. Anyway, so they all go back, and Monica's trapped in another universe now. So the next scene they come to is, oh yeah, Captain Marvel. The whole thing with Hala's son. Monica and Kamala are like, well, Carol, can't you just fucking reignite the sun? And she's like, I've never fucking done anything like that before. Are you kidding me? They're like, well, worth a try. So in one of the final scenes, Captain Marvel flies to Hala and fucking just, I guess she punches the sun, and it reignites. And ta-da, sunshine. And everything is all well and good with the Kree and the Skrulls. I'm not sure. Some of the Skrulls that we escaped from the planet, there's a cameo by Tessa Thompson showing up as Valkyrie, who just fucking blips in, grabs the Skrulls, and then blips back to Asgard using the Bifrost. And like a 2-minute scene. End scene, one of the end scenes, is Kamala recruiting Haley Steinfeld, Kate Bishop, for basically what's going to be the Young Avengers. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here, guys. That's what they're shooting for. Put out a movie with all these heroes, but y'all don't have to pay them anything near the Robert Downey Jr. money. Whew. Big savings. So, movie ends basically there. And then there's a post-credits scene where Monica wakes up and looks over, and Lashana Lynch is sitting in a chair with a blanket wrapped around herself. And Monica's like, Mom? Mom, is that you? Is it you? Starts freaking out. And Lashana Lynch opens her eyes. She goes, Mom? Like, huh? And then all of a sudden, Kelsey Grammer's Beast walks in. And he's like, well, how's the patient going? And all this stuff. And he's like, I've got to get this report to Charles. And Lashana Lynch stands up and drops the blanket. And she's binary in this universe. Basically, Monica's character from our universe is Lashana Lynch. Even though Lashana Lynch, the last time we saw her was Captain Marvel from another universe who got squished by that pillar or statue by Wanda in Multiverse of Madness. It's getting... The problem with these movies now, guys, is... Oh, that's basically the end of the scene, too. Lashana Lynch looks at Monica and she's like, so who are you? And Monica's just like, oh, shit. And that's where it ends. These movies are getting to the point now, though, guys, where even the diehard fans are sitting there thinking, how much fucking content do we have to watch to be able to keep following all this stuff? I mean, basically, to fully understand, for what the plot gave you to understand, this movie, you need to have seen Miss Marvel, all 8 episodes, WandaVision, all 8 episodes, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But still, like, come on. Like, might as well, instead of trailers before the movie, put up a PowerPoint presentation and be like, here's where we started off, and this happened, and then this and that, and then now we're here. And play the movie. It's like, it's crazy. And then now I read today a whole bunch of movies got bumped all the way back down the schedule again. Blade is now coming out November 7th, 2025. Thunderbolts is summer 2025. I think Captain America... I can't remember if that one... Deadpool is still apparently summer 2024. And I don't know if Cap is spring 2024. I don't know. It's all over the place. I mean, the strike finally ended, thank God. So we can finally get back to fucking getting back to it. But we're talking major stalls on productions, and then you gotta get the entire crew back, and you gotta get the actors, and they might be off doing, well, they can't be doing anything else because there was a strike. But yeah, I mean, I think Deadpool 3 was halfway done shooting when they had to pull the plug back in July because the strike started. So, who knows? But anyway, I'm gonna post this up and look for another review sometime soon. I'm gonna try to wrap up Loki and see if I can make heads or tails of that, and probably post my 2 cents worth thoughts on that one afterwards. But yeah, for now, like, subscribe, tell your friends, have a good one, and we'll talk to you next time.